Something evil, something dangerous, on the edges of my sanity, something calls to me.
Howling IV, the original Nightmare, is a 1988 horror sequel directed by John Hough and starring Romy Windsor, Michael T. Weiss, Antony Hamilton, Susanne Severeid, Lamya Derval, Norman Anstey, and Dennis Fulbiggy. This is pure 80s. Marie boards an elevator with a nun and does the obligatory blasphemy in front of her.
God damn it. Excuse me, sis.
Your filthy mouth made her disappear! She meets with her editor Tom, who obviously wants to hit it, having lunch and some more magic.
But they want the rights to this, your next book.
Tom.
Yes?
Do you think she's Freddy's mom? Wow, one bad trip and your ass is sent to the funny farm! Look at that sweet mullet. The doctor tells Marie's husband Richard that her writer imagination is out of control and she needs a break to gather herself and recommends going on vacation.
And that means no work. She needs to go somewhere where her imagination won't be stimulated.
How about a howling movie marathon? This is the most hoi polloi vacation trip ever.
Look at this.
Hey. What's that?
That is where you're driving me.
And why is Tom driving Marie and not her husband?
Richard's gonna be driving back and forth to LA, though. He's up for a big design job, did I tell you?
Do you need any company while he's gone?
Smooth.
No way! You'd have me trying to write all the time. Forget about it.
Tom is obviously just trying to get his dick wet. They get lost and thank God it's the police.
Well now, just where is it we're trying to get to?
I really wanted that cop to be Slim Pickens again, but he had already passed from this world.
We're trying to find Drago.
Drago, huh?
Like the dude that killed Apollo Creed? The sheriff gives them directions and they arrive at the cottage. Werewolves will devour that dog by the end of this film. Kenny Loggins!
Tom. What a surprise. I didn't expect to see you here.
Yeah, it was a last-minute thing. Very cool to say goodbye.
These guys are definitely not going to outact each other.
Hey, why don't you just stay here tonight? I mean, it looks like we have plenty of room.
Look, Marie, if he's got to get back, Tom's got to get back, right?
That's pretty much Richard telling Tom to get the fuck out of here. Richard has a mullet and a Firebird? The next day they go to Drago and boy is it weird. Marie wants to pick up some art supplies and stops at Eleanor's shop, giving us this very shitty scene.
Armstead store is just across the way.
Thank you.
You have a nice shop.
Oh, please stop by again when you have more time.
Low rent Indiana Jones. They go to the grocery store and we get a little exposition.
Had a little run-in with him yesterday, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The sheriff can be a little surly, but he's a good man to have on your side when trouble comes knocking.
How did you know I met the sheriff yesterday?
It was posted on the Drago Lovers Facebook group. It's not a Howling movie unless there's a dream sequence.
Pierre!
Oh, here it comes! Richard and Marie argue about the dog, and Marie goes to the sheriff, who could care less.
Dogs run off all the time. Folk around here don't get too concerned.
Here's another dream of chasing nuns. That is a dick move, sir. Richard heads to his job and Marie talks to the grocer, with this segment being sponsored by Coca-Cola. She walks home spotting a nun and surprise, it's Eleanor.
You're going back to your cottage?
Yeah.
If you go that way, across a swing bridge, it's much quicker for you.
That's kinda sketchy. Wait a minute, Eleanor didn't say shit about a cave, too. Called it. Then Marie is chased by something all the way back to the cottage.
Marie, what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it?
Something's following me,
What are you talking about?
Something's following me out there.
The person playing Richard is a horrible actor. That was an in-depth investigation. Ah, crazy old people! Oh great, a fan showed up. They share some tang as Richard goes to town to pick up some art supplies from Eleanor.
Something like this.
You have very good taste. It's got great detail.
What you're feeling right now is sexual tension. Janice reveals that she used to be a nun and is investigating the death of Sister Ruth, who she knew from work.
I had a very close friend in the convent, Sister Ruth.
She just carries a big-ass 8x10 around with her? There's some exposition about what happened, and she's apparently dead. Meanwhile, Richard is investigating the bridge and the cave, discovering this doll's head. Yeah, but the dog is still missing. You brought the head home? And Richard thinks she's nuts. Marie goes out painting, meeting Paula and John, with Paula being injured. She patches her up and they tell her this happy story.
It's a replica of a 16th century bell tower from Europe, and the bell is the original. Quite a history behind it. Evidently the bell was rung to summons the townspeople. And when they were all inside, the tower was burned down. Apparently, there were no survivors.
Then they go hiking in the fog, and this ultimately happens to John. Then Paula gets it.
Marie, it was probably a coyote. Maybe he's in heat.
All Richard wants to do is procreate. Then Marie gets some company.
Sister Ruth.
Don't hurt him! Don't hurt him!
Okay. Richard heads back to the city and Janice comes over with Marie revealing that she had visions of Sister Ruth.
And the expression on her face was like something horrible was happening right here in my living room.
This movie. They head to town to check out the bell tower but get denied. Then they spot a van being towed and Marie discovers New York plates. Hey, that's where John and Paula were from. Marie calls Tom to run the plates and she joins Janice in talking to a priest.
Do any of them ever come here to your services?
No.
Isn't that unusual?
It is strange. But the people from Drago are a community unto themselves.
They're heathens. That's right, drink the crazy away. Here's some poltergeist shit. That's coming out of your deposit. Or maybe not? Do you want to know what the solution to all this is? Giving the delusional woman a firearm. Richard decides to go to town for supplies and get a drink, which is a great idea with your wife in this condition. He stumbles from the bar and into Eleanor's place, leading to some getting it on. So what was the point of this? It's not like Marie hasn't been getting it on with him on a regular basis. Oh, wait a minute. It's because Richard's a scumbag piece of shit. Calm down, baby. She just fell on my penis. Here's another thorough Richard investigation. I can't believe this is decaf. Marie then thinks everything is bullshit and heads to the doctor to grab some Valium and freak out over some wolf attack info.
I've never heard of a wolf in these parts. Perhaps it was a raccoon. They're the most persistent scavengers around.
Mistake it for a wolf? Oh, the van wasn't licensed to John. She tells Richard what's been going on, and it goes well.
You put together a few bad dreams and a frustrated lesbian, and you come up with howling werewolves and demented nuns. Christ, you even involved Tom on like that.
Marie is ready to split, but Richard walks off, probably to fuck Eleanor again. Yup. Then this happens. Marie discovers Richard, and at least he buttoned his pants up before she got there. The next day, Doc shows up, and everything has changed.
A wolf, Marie? I fell down a gully. Onto some rocks.
This is called gaslighting. Janice does some more research as Richard heads out for some more tale. Tom arrives with a brief discussion with Janice, and she leaves with Tom possibly making a move.
You son of a bitch! Get out.
Richard, Tom didn't mean anything by that.
Get out.
You guys are fucking terrible! Then I guess Tom tries his luck with Janice.
The license plates belong to somebody called Brooks.
Brooks? But that couldn't be. That was Sister Ruth's last name.
Plot twist! The old couple was Ruth's parents, and they never really left. Tom heads back to the cottage, and here's Dick. Effects budget! Then Marie runs outside to find Richard turning into a bowl of soft serve ice cream. Marie flees as all these wolfy people watch, and hey, Richard is now a wolf. Marie and Janice meet in town, and here's your overzealous law enforcement. They run to the tower, and oh, hi, Doc. They plan on killing the werewolves by having Janice sacrifice herself while ringing the bell, and Marie setting the tower on fire. Those are German shepherds. Marie pushes the truck on fire into the tower, and congratulations, you've just committed multiple murder!
Richard!
How can you tell that's him without that sweet mullet goodness? Here's a shade jump scare to end the film. Another Howling sequel, and another piece of shit. But word has it that this film is the closest to the original novel. The story is a little more coherent than the last two, but still pretty lifeless and flimsy. Thing is, the acting in this one seems to be worse. Meaning that's a wash. They both suck hard. At the end of the day, Howling IV is pretty much just a cheap, shitty remake of the original.
Boil the water, honey. Your man Don brung home the bacon.